In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a complete flowchart in Excel, using simple tools and techniques that anyone can follow. Imagine you have a series of steps or a process you need to illustrate. Maybe it's a workflow for a project or a decision tree for a set of choices. Excel can help you map that out without worrying about page limits, and it's surprisingly straightforward once you know where to look. To make it even easier to follow along, I've put together an Excel file with some starter shapes you can use. There's a link in the description if you'd like to download it and practice step by step as you watch. First, open a blank Excel worksheet. You'll notice that by default it's set up for rows and columns, but we can turn this grid into our personal flowchart canvas. Go to the Insert tab at the top of your Excel window. Within the Insert tab, you'll spot a section for illustrations, and inside it, a button labeled Shapes. Click on that and you'll see a large selection of various shapes you can insert. If you scroll through, you'll find a dedicated group specifically for flowchart symbols, though you can technically use any shape you like if you prefer a different look. Let's start by placing our Begin shape. Pick a flowchart shape that works well for a starting point. Many folks like a rounded rectangle for this. Once you've selected it, your cursor will change to a plus sign. Click and drag on your worksheet to draw the shape. When you release the mouse, you'll see that shape on your sheet. To label it, right-click on the shape, choose the option to edit the text, and type something like Start or Begin. Then, while the shape is selected, switch to the Home tab so you can adjust the font size. Make the text bold and center it if needed. That way, your starting shape is clear and easy to read. Next, let's drop in a step for the process. Go back to the Insert tab, click Shapes again, and choose a standard process shape. Usually, it's a plain rectangle from the flowchart group. Draw it on your sheet and type in your step. For instance, you might write Step 1 to represent the first action you want someone to take. You can copy the formatting from your first shape by selecting that shape, clicking the Format Painter tool on the Home tab, and then clicking on your new shape. This makes the text style and size consistent across both shapes. Now, you're probably going to want an arrow to connect Start to Step 1. Still under the Insert tab, go back to Shapes and look for a line with an arrow at one end. Click it and notice that your cursor is once again a plus sign. Hover over the edge of the first shape and you'll see small dots or handles that appear on the outline. Those indicate connection points. Click on one of those points, then drag the arrow toward a connection point on the second shape. When you see that second point highlight, release the mouse. Excel will lock your arrow to both shapes, so if you later move them around on the sheet, the arrow stays attached, saving you time on readjustments. Let's say your process has a decision right after Step 1. For a decision, many people like to use a diamond shape to make it visually obvious that there's a choice to be made. Go back to Insert Shapes. Choose the diamond under the flowchart group and draw it on your sheet. Label it something like Yes or No. Then format it with the same style if you like. You can do that by using the Format Painter again, or by manually adjusting the font properties. Because a decision splits your process into different paths, you may need more than one shape after it. Perhaps there's a Step 2A for the Yes branch and a Step 2B for the No branch. Rather than keep inserting and reformatting rectangles, you can just copy your existing Step 1 rectangle and paste it on the sheet. Drag it into position on the right side of your decision shape. Label it Step 2A, and then do the same again for Step 2B, placing it below the diamond. Draw new arrows to connect your diamond shape to each of these new steps. Each arrow works the same way. Pick the arrow line from Shapes, attach one end to a point on your diamond, and then attach the other end to the step you want to link. If you find the arrows are at awkward angles, you can align your shapes to keep everything neat and symmetrical. Select all the shapes you want to line up by clicking each while holding the Shift key. At the top of Excel, you should see a Format tab appear once shapes are selected. Within that Format tab, look for an Align option in the Arrange section. You can choose to align them at the top edges or center them horizontally, whatever works best for your layout. You can also make shapes the same size if some are taller or wider than others. Look for the size boxes at the far right of the Format tab and enter a uniform height and width. Once they match, aligning them becomes much smoother. Formatting also makes a big difference. When you click on a shape, you'll see style options in the Format tab that let you pick fill colors, outlines, gradients, or even add effects like glow or shadows. For instance, you could keep your main process shapes all the same color, then choose a different color for the diamond shapes that represent decisions. You can also format multiple items at once by selecting them together. And if you want to change the style of the arrows so they're thicker or bolder, you can select them all, then either pick a preset arrow style from the Shape Styles gallery or open up more detailed choices in the Format Shape pane. Another handy feature is hyperlinking a shape. Maybe you want Step 2B to link to a different sheet in your workbook, or even an external website with detailed information. You can do this by selecting the shape, clicking Insert at the top, and choosing Link, sometimes labeled Hyperlink. Then decide if you want to point it to a web page, an email address, or a specific sheet in your current file. Once you confirm, that shape becomes clickable. If you hover over it and press Ctrl while clicking, Excel will jump to your chosen destination. Feel free to keep adding steps, decisions, and arrows until your entire flowchart is mapped. You can drag everything around to make room if you need a more spacious layout. Excel is flexible that way. There are no rigid page boundaries, so you can just scroll in any direction and keep building. Once you're finished, you'll have a professional-looking flowchart that's fully editable and easy to rearrange whenever your process changes. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more Excel tutorials, because I'll be sharing more ways to work faster and smarter in your spreadsheets. And don't forget to grab the example file from the description so you can practice and customize the shapes for your own process. And now, YouTube thinks this next video will make you an Excel wizard. Watch it or stay stuck in spreadsheet limbo forever. No pressure. See you there!